How to give the hard truth without being an asshole. Let's be real. Life is going to put you in positions where you need to deliver hard truths. Whether it's at work, with family, or with friends, staying silent might feel like protection, but it often does more harm than good. Tough love isn't about being a jerk. It's about caring enough to say what no one else will, and doing it without flinching or flaying someone alive. Do you avoid difficult conversations because you don't want to hurt people's feelings? Do you watch people make destructive choices while you stay quiet to keep the peace? Do you think being honest means being harsh, or being kind means being dishonest? Here's what no one tells you. The people who care about you enough to tell you uncomfortable truths are often the ones helping you grow the most. But there's an art to delivering truth that heals instead of wounds. Today, we're learning how to give difficult feedback that creates growth instead of defensiveness, change instead of damage. We're covering 5 essential skills. First, why comfort is overrated, but clarity isn't. Second, the 3-part framework for delivering truth with impact. Third, how to say hard things without dismantling people. Fourth, how to check your motives before you speak. And fifth, how to receive truth as well as you dish it out. 1. Comfort is overrated. Clarity isn't. Sugarcoating paralyzes people. Here's something that might make you uncomfortable. Sugarcoating doesn't protect people. It paralyzes them. When you wrap harsh realities in soft language, you rob people of the clarity they need to make informed decisions about their lives. If the truth stings, good. That means it hit the nerve that needed healing. Most people avoid giving direct feedback because they're afraid of causing discomfort. But discomfort is often the catalyst for necessary change. When you tell someone their relationship is toxic in gentle, vague terms, they can dismiss your concern. When you tell them clearly and specifically what you're observing, they have to confront reality. The goal isn't to make people comfortable. It's to make them conscious. Consciousness requires clarity, and clarity sometimes requires cutting through the comfortable illusions people create to avoid dealing with difficult truths. Think about the hard truths that changed your life. Were they delivered gently, or were they clear, direct statements that forced you to see something you'd been avoiding? Most transformation happens when someone cares enough to disrupt your comfortable delusions with uncomfortable realities. This doesn't mean being cruel or insensitive. It means being clear and direct about what you're observing without wrapping it in so much softness that the message gets lost. You can be kind and honest at the same time. Kindness is about your attention, not your impact. When you avoid giving people honest feedback, you're not protecting them from pain. You're protecting yourself from the discomfort of difficult conversations. But your temporary comfort isn't worth their long-term stagnation. 2. The 3-part truth framework. Lead with clarity, add context, finish with care. Time to get practical about how to structure difficult conversations. The 3-part truth framework helps you deliver hard feedback in a way that's clear, contextual, and caring. Clarity, context, care. Don't wrap the truth in fluff. Wrap it in purpose. Start with clarity. State the truth directly and specifically. Your drinking is affecting your work performance and your relationships. Your business idea needs significant changes before it's viable. Your partner is taking advantage of your kindness. Don't hint, imply, or beat around the bush. Lead with the clear, unvarnished truth. Add context. Explain why this matters and what you're observing. I've noticed you've been late 3 times this week, and you seemed unfocused during the client meeting that after lunch. The financial projections don't account for several major expenses, and the market research seems incomplete. I've watched you make excuses for behavior that you wouldn't tolerate from anyone else. Finish with care. Express why you're bringing this up and what you hope for them. I'm telling you this because I care about you and I can see this pattern is hurting you. I believe in your entrepreneurial spirit, but I want to see you succeed with a solid plan. You deserve a relationship where you're valued and respected. This structure works because it doesn't leave room for misinterpretation while still communicating that your feedback comes from a place of caring. People can handle difficult truths when they understand that you're invested in their well-being, not just interested in being right. 3. Say it without dismantling them. Your tone and timing matter. Here's where most people go wrong. They think delivering hard truths gives them license to be harsh, condescending, or cruel. But your tone, body language, and timing determine whether your truth heals or wounds. Truth hits harder when it's not laced with ego, judgment, or superiority. Choose your timing carefully. Don't deliver difficult feedback when people are already stressed, vulnerable, or dealing with other crises. Don't ambush them with hard truths during casual conversations. Schedule dedicated time for serious discussions so both parties can engage thoughtfully. Your tone should be firm but not aggressive, direct but not dismissive. You're not lecturing a child or punishing someone for bad behavior. You're sharing observations with someone you care about. Speak like you're talking to an equal who deserves respect, even when you're addressing their mistakes. Your body language should be open and engaged, not closed off or intimidating. Make eye contact, but don't stare them down. Keep your posture relaxed but attentive. Avoid crossing your arms, pointing fingers, or invading their personal space. Give them space to respond without immediately defending or explaining your position. The goal is dialogue, not monologue. You want to create a conversation where they can process what you've said and share their perspective. Remember that the same truth delivered with compassion versus condescension will have completely different impacts. People can handle difficult feedback when they feel respected and valued, but they'll shut down when they feel attacked or judged. 4. Are you helping or just venting? Check your motives before you speak. Before you deliver any difficult truth, ask yourself this crucial question. Are you trying to help them grow, or are you trying to make yourself feel better? If your honesty is disguised bitterness, superiority, or resentment, sit down and work on your own issues first. Real tough love comes from a place of genuine care and investment in someone's well-being. Fake tough love comes from frustration, judgment, or the need to be right. The difference is in your motivation. Are you speaking up because you want to see them succeed or because you want to prove a point? Check your emotional state before having difficult conversations. If you're angry, hurt, or frustrated with this person, wait until you can approach the conversation from a calmer place. If you're feeling superior or judgmental, examine why you think you have the right to critique their choices. Ask yourself, what outcome am I hoping for? If you want them to change specific behaviors or make different choices, that's potentially helpful feedback. If you just want them to know that you think they're wrong or foolish, that's not helpful. That's just emotional dumping. Consider whether this feedback is wanted or needed. Sometimes people need to learn lessons through their own experience, even when you can see the obvious problems they're ignoring. Sometimes your job is to support them through their mistakes, not prevent them from making those mistakes. The best tough love comes from people who have earned the right to speak into your life through consistent care, support, and investment in your well-being. Make sure you've earned that right before you assume someone needs to hear your difficult truths. 5. Can you take it to the real test of growth? Here's the ultimate test of your maturity. If you dish out hard truths, you better know how to swallow them. The real measure of growth isn't how eloquently you can deliver difficult feedback. It's how gracefully you can receive it. Elder Jordan Peterson said, "In order to be able to think, you have to risk being offensive, but you also have to risk being offended. Truth has edges. Let them sharpen you, not just others. When someone cares enough to give you uncomfortable feedback, your response reveals more about your character than their delivery reveals about theirs. Practice receiving feedback without immediately defending, explaining, or deflecting. When someone tells you something difficult about yourself, resist the urge to justify your behavior or point out their flaws in return. Instead, listen for the kernel of truth that might be buried in their words. Ask clarifying questions. Can you give me a specific example? What would you like to see me do differently? How has this affected you? This shows that you're taking their feedback seriously and looking for ways to grow from it. Thank people for caring enough to have difficult conversations with you, even when their delivery isn't perfect. It takes courage to risk a relationship by telling someone uncomfortable truths. Acknowledge that courage even when you don't like what they're saying. Remember that your ability to receive feedback gracefully encourages others to be honest with you in the future. When you get defensive or hostile in response to difficult truths, you train people to either avoid giving you feedback or to deliver it more harshly because they don't trust you to handle it maturely. All right, time for some tough love. Being honest isn't a license to be cruel, and being kind doesn't mean you have to lie. Grow the hell up and learn to do both. You think you're helping people by telling them harsh truths, but half the time you're just processing your own frustration through their problems. You think you're being real, but you're actually being reckless with other people's emotions and self-esteem. On the flip side, you think you're being compassionate by avoiding difficult conversations, but you're actually being cowardly. You're choosing your temporary comfort over their long-term growth. You're letting people make destructive choices because you don't want to risk conflict. The hardest skill to develop isn't learning how to give tough love. It's learning how to receive it. It's learning to listen when someone tells you that your behavior is hurting them, your choices are limiting you, or your patterns are keeping you stuck. Stop hiding behind, "I'm just being honest," when you're being unnecessarily harsh. Stop hiding behind, "I don't want to hurt their feelings," when you're avoiding necessary conversations. Learn to deliver truth with compassion and receive truth with humility. The people who love you enough to tell you difficult truths are often the ones helping you grow the most. But you have to be mature enough to handle that gift without shooting the messenger. Now here's your challenge for today. Who needs to hear a difficult truth from you today? Someone whose patterns you've been watching with concern, whose choices worry you, whose potential you see being wasted? Say it clearly, kindly, and without apology. Use the three-part framework: clarity, context, care. And if someone tells you a difficult truth this week, don't deflect, don't defend, don't dismiss. Listen. Own what's yours. Rise to meet the challenge of becoming better. That's how tough love works, both ways. If this video reminded you that tough love is an art form that requires both courage and compassion, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're building a community of people who care enough to tell each other the truth and mature enough to hear it. Share this with someone who either needs to learn how to give difficult feedback or needs to learn how to receive it better. Sometimes we all need a reminder that real love includes real honesty. Remember, you're not broken. You're untrained in the delicate art of delivering truth with care. And these skills can be developed starting with your next difficult conversation. Until next time, speak truth with love and receive truth with grace.